Have you ever launched a new project at work or maybe started a new fitness plan and found yourself wondering, is this actually working? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework that helps answer that exact question. It's called Stakes Countenance Model, and it's all about helping us see the entire story, not just the final chapter. All right, so to really get why this model is such a game changer, we first have to talk about the core problem it was built to solve. I mean, really think about that for a second. It could be anything. A new curriculum at a school, a big training seminar at your company, even your own study habits for an exam. How can you be absolutely sure that what you're doing is getting you the results you want? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's way more complex than you'd think. Because most of the time, we just look at the final score. Did you pass the test? Did you hit your sales target? And yeah, that's important, but it's kind of like skipping to the last page of a mystery novel. You find out who did it, but you have no idea how or why. You miss the entire plot. So to really understand what's working and, just as importantly, what's not, we have to look at the whole shebang. The setup, the process, the experience, all of it. We need a way to see the big picture. And that, my friends, is exactly where Robert Stake's countenance model comes in. Think of it as a comprehensive blueprint for evaluation, one that gives us the tools to see that complete picture. So let's break down its two key concepts. First up is this idea of countenance. Now, that might sound a little fancy, but all it really means is the program's face or its overall structure. If you were judging a car, you wouldn't just look at the engine, right? You'd look at how the engine, the wheels, the body, and the steering all work together to make it a great car. Countenance is about seeing how all the pieces of the puzzle fit to create one single functioning whole. The second big idea here is contingency. And this is all about dependency, how one thing affects the next. The best way to think about this is like baking a cake. The final taste of that cake, the outcome, is contingent on the baking process. And that baking process is contingent on the quality of your ingredients. See that? It's a chain reaction where one thing flows logically from the thing before it. So the model uses this logic to break any evaluation down into these three core phases. First, you've got antecedents. These are the inputs, all the conditions that exist before the program even begins. In our cake analogy, this is your flour, your sugar, your eggs. Then come the transactions. These are all the processes and interactions that happen during the program. This is you mixing the batter and baking the cake. And finally, you have the outcomes, the results. This is the delicious cake you get to eat at the end. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at an example, evaluating a Bachelor of Education program to see how this blueprint really comes to life. So evaluators use a matrix, kind of like the one you're seeing now, to organize everything. It's brilliant, really. In one column, they just put down their observations. This is the raw, objective data. So, for the inputs, the antecedents, they observed that the program had qualified faculty and well-equipped classrooms. Then in the next column, they make a judgment. They compare that observation to a standard and decide, okay, that's satisfactory. And they do this for every single phase, from student engagement during the program to the final proficiency scores. It builds this really clear, evidence-based portrait of what's going on. Now, here's a really cool part of the model. It's about checking for something Stake calls congruence. Basically, it's a reality check. Did what you intended to happen actually happen? In this case, the program's intent was to help students develop reflective teaching skills. And look at the observation. Their journal showed strong evidence of that very skill. That's a perfect match. That tells you that in this area at least, the program is hitting the nail on the head. And this right here is a perfect example of contingency in action. You can see the connection so clearly. The antecedent, having some prior classroom experience, directly led to a better outcome, stronger performance. Finding these links is so incredibly valuable because it helps you understand why you're getting certain results. And once you know the why, you can make smart, targeted improvements. So, let's zoom out. What's the big deal? Why go through all this trouble? Why is looking at things this way so incredibly powerful? Well, the real value is in the incredible depth it gives you. It's not just about getting a final grade, it's about getting a comprehensive report card that tells the whole story. And what's great is that it's not just some top-down judgment, it's stakeholder-centric, which means it values everyone's perspective. But the main goal, the whole point, is to be decision-oriented, to use these amazing insights to make real, practical improvements that actually work. And that kind of brings us to our final thought for today. This way of thinking isn't just for big, formal educational programs. Not at all. You can apply this to a project at work, a personal fitness goal, even how you're studying for your next exam. So I'll leave you with this question. What program in your life could use a complete portrait? What could you improve if you truly understood not just the final result, but all the inputs and processes that led you there? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.